All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Young Educate Uncertain podcast. It is episode 18. I am your host, Rashad Young. I am honored today to have somebody that I've been admired by, inspired by. We're going to get to this great conversation. I consider you like a little brother. I
Yeah,
consider you like
I
a
was there.
little brother. I was talking to Malik when we did our last episode. I was like, man, I need to hit up CJ, man. I was like, I have not talked to CJ. And my thing is, I be thinking, I'm like, yo, like, I'm gonna hit this person up. And then another idea will come. And I'm like, I need to hit up CJ. Like, I need to hit this dude up. I keep saying it. I'm like, we all in quarantine right now. We got nothing but time. But, you know, I'm here today, my good brother CJ. How you feeling, brother?
Hey, man, I'm doing pretty good, bro. I can't complain. Quarantine got me going a little crazy, but hey, we making it make sense, bro.
Now, what does that look like for you? Why is quarantine making you go crazy? It's different for everybody.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people, I know a lot of people working, some people still in school, but for me personally, I'm still in school. So back when this all hit, what was that, mid-March?
Yeah.
We've been home for probably like 5-6 weeks of like the actual school semester, bro. And so that's completely different. I've never done like, had all my classes online. So
Right.
especially being at home, bro, it's hard because, this is your comfortable space.
Mm-hmm.
You get kind of lazy, complacent sometimes, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a little challenging too because for my program, I'm on a product development track, so I get used to using a lot of resources on campus, like especially like machines. So I had to go out and invest in some more machines. Which it was pretty stressful, bro, especially me not working right now. But like I said, bro, everything happened for a reason, so I'm just trying to take it day by day.
Now, I'm glad that you mentioned that you're still in school. If I'm not mistaken, you would have already graduated by now, right? Not prior to all this, right?
Yes, sir.
And you essentially, correct me if I'm wrong, you went your senior year and you decided to pick a whole different route.
I did.
Now, what was your major before what you do now? Because what you do now is fashion, correct?
Right. Before I started, well, it's not. It is fashion. It's the official program name is called Textile and Apparel Management. I'm on the product development track, which is like fashion design. But previous to this, I was a journalism major. And when I started off, bro, I really did like it. I felt like my heart was in it.
Right.
As time went by, especially I would say even in my junior year, bro, I started getting hints of I'm like, man, I really don't know if this is it. But I was just like, everybody like, bro, just stick with it. That passes, just go ahead, get your degree, get your job, whatever. So I'm hearing that in the back of my head. I'm like, all right, bro, just get through it. So yeah, my senior year, I wasn't supposed to walk that May. I was actually going to walk in December, but that's only a semester away.
Mm-hmm.
So I just found myself, I'm going through the motions, bro. And school was school, and it was hell. I wasn't happy at all. And I had talked to some people, and textile and apparel management was always something that I was kind of interested in, but I didn't know how broad of a field it was, which is, my fault. I definitely should have did some more research because I probably could have did this probably up to like a year earlier, but you just being stubborn,
Right.
But yeah, bro, I'm talking to some people in the program. They tell me a little bit about it. That's probably like the first semester of that senior year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I'm still not sold. I'm talking to some of my friends, not like my immediate friends, but I'm just talking to some of the
Right, you're just talking, right? I get it.
Yeah, some of my family, and they're like, bro, what you mean? Like, this your senior year, like you tripping, especially like fashion. They're like, oh, bro, you tripping? Like, don't do that. You invested all this time and all this like money, you gonna go and like redo it. So of course that was discouraging for me too. But bro, I just got to that point. It was that second semester. I'm like, bro, I was getting up every day. Like, I'm like, bro, I hate it. Like, there's no way I could do this, for the rest of my life, bro. And through my immediate homies, bro, like, Malik, Amex, Daryl, my mom, bro, they like, look, this your life, you got to do what's best for you. So, if you feel like that's what you need to do, just go ahead and do it. And so I took a tour of the facility, bro, and I was sold.
That was it. You just fell in love with it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously, you got the R4 on your shirt. You know, shout out to Retro. Shout out to you guys over there. You were essentially making clothes before you switched your major, right?
Okay. Yeah, I started making clothes. It's been a minute now. It's been probably like 2 years. I started off just doing like regular hand embroidery, and I don't even know what made me honestly start, bro. I saw someone like YouTube. I'm like, man, that's hard. Like, let me just go ahead and do it. And it turned out like still to this day, like it's crafted like well, you know, it's still held up. I still wear it. And people's like, yeah, bro, like make me some. So I'm like, you know, cool. Like at first I'm like, it's just a way I can make a couple of dollars, bro. So started off with the hand embroidery, upgraded, got like extra sewing machine, you know, started retro with Malik and John, Daryl and all them guys. And I just like I fell in love with like the process, bro. And I'm like, wow, like that's when I finally started finding out people do this for a career. But yeah, I've been making clothes for probably like around 2 years now. I just really got into the cut and sew seriously probably like 7-8 months ago though.
So talking about this process, what has been the most interesting part of this clothing aspect? Fashion, you know, fashion is so transformative. Think of the greats right now. Think of Virgil. Think of even Nike, really. What is it about fashion that you're trying to get out of it?
Bro. Yeah, like you said, it's so many different ways you could interpret and take fashion. For me, I fell in love with it because it's like it's just a form of interpretation and like storytelling, bro. And that's what I really fell in love with. Because, you know, at first, you know, it was just like making cool stuff with your friends, you know, like that excited me. And it's grown and like evolved into something like way more. And I see like the importance of it, bro. We living in a time where like fashion is one of the most like disruptive industries like in the world right now, bro, with like pollution, corruption, like all types of stuff. It's a lot of crazy stuff that going in the fashion industry. And so me, especially being from like somewhere like St. Louis, bro, like, you know, granted, it's been a couple people that's made it out or that's making names for themselves, bro, but we really don't have that voice in the industry, bro. And, you know, being a young black dude too, I'm like, we also don't have a voice in that industry. So,
yeah,
you know, fashion has become very like cultural and like societal for me. Like I said, it's like, it's a way to tell your story. And like I said, I really just fell in love with like the process, bro, like the trial and error, like the grind of it. I've always had like that competitive nature. And I felt like I made a post about it. I took it down on Instagram a while back. But I was just talking about like I really feel like, you know, in a way, bro, it's really saved my life because I was, you know, that's not talked about enough either, bro. Like it's just a way I can highlight everything. But I was going through some serious like mental health problems, bro. Like for a while. And, you know, that was just school and life just like beating me down, bro. And, you know, like I said, I was just going through the motions with the other major. So, you know, for this to come at the time that it did, bro, I just felt like it was God, bro. Like it was perfect time because I was like that close to like missing my beat. And, you know, if I graduated, who knows if I ever would have went back. So, yeah, it'd be long-winded, stuff like that. But yeah, bro, like fashion really did save my life, bro. I could go on and talk about that all day.
So, stay on this topic. Obviously, May is considered Mental Health Awareness Month. Now, during your time, and I think everybody in college, just to be 100, everybody in college has that moment where life is beating them down.
Yep.
And unfortunately, we live in a society, man, where people will tell you just to kind of stick it out. You know what I mean? So I remember you telling me, I think it was a Daryl graduation dinner. And he was like, yeah, I'm not graduating. I'm switching to fashion. I was like, originally, like your first instinct was like, you're about to be done. Like,
right, like
why would you stop something that's already, you know, I kind of took a step back. I was like, Rashad, you did the same thing. The only thing was you did it 2 years earlier. You almost failed out of school. Because at first I went to school to do chemistry. I was trying to be a pharmacist. I'm trying to do what Daryl doing now. So,
ooh, bro, that's different.
Right. So I switched to education. I realized that I was better off working with people. And,
Right.
you know, at that time, you thinking about the money, you thinking about, man, you're not going to make nothing out of it and this, that, you know. And so I was like, okay, no, he's doing it because this is what he wants to do. Now, you said in those low moments, was it that fashion that kind of created that spark? I know you mentioned it. Was it fashion that created that spark, or was it the fact of you felt like you were just so down that you were just trying to find a new outlet?
I feel like probably a little bit of both, honestly. Because like I said, I've struggled with mental health. It really kind of date back to high school, but it definitely did like progress, get worse in my, once I moved out the house and, kind of got on my own
Yeah.
college. So I would honestly say a little bit of both. Probably around my sophomore or like I said, at the beginning of my junior year, I'm
Yeah.
like, man, like I don't know if this is it, blah blah blah. But at the time, like I had heard about the program, but I'm like, I wasn't like sold. And yeah, I was making clothes at that time too, but I never knew that was gonna be like my ends or like my outlet.
Right.
So, for a while, I'm just trying everything, bro. I took a step back. I wasn't like taking journalism classes no more. I'm just trying to explore all these different options. And it
Mm-hmm.
was super frustrating, bro, because it seemed like nothing was really sticking. And, time ticking up. And of course, bro, like super happy for like all my homies, friends, bro, that got out of there in 4, and everybody else that got out in 4. But like at the time, I'm like, man, that's hella discouraging, just because I'm like, everybody like it seemed like they know what they want to do, bro. And I'm like, here we are,
Yep.
we about to go into senior year, and I'm like, I don't know who I am, bro. I don't
Yep.
know anything anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was really probably like the deepest, darkest time I had ever like had to face, bro. And I don't know, man. Like it's just it's weird how everything happened, bro. Like I had a great support system. That's honestly what honestly got me through. I got some great friends, bro. My mom, amazing, bro. So they're like, hey, you gonna find it, bro. Just like keep your head, And like I said, I was already making clothes, but like I feel like when I finally started like researching like actual like fashion design and stuff like that, I'm like, wow, bro, like that's cool. And shout out to one of my homies. He actually graduated from a zoo. Couple of them, Zay. He got a brand called Pray For Me.
Yeah, I know what that is.
And
I
shout
know
out
of him.
Stan. Shout out Stan too.
Yeah, DJ too, right?
Yeah,
These
yeah,
people that you're talking about, like, I've heard of them,
yeah,
but I've never talked to them. But
yeah,
like
bro.
they doing major things though.
Solid people, bro. Like, cause like I'm saying, I'm just like buying clothes off them. I'm like, wow, bro. Like, especially I know Zay from St. Louis, Stan from Chicago, but I'm like, these young dudes like really getting to it. So I'm like, yeah, bro, like that's raw. So just out the blue one day, I don't remember if it was senior year or not, bro, but I shot Zay a text or something. I'm like, yeah, bro, like can I link with you? Like just rap about some stuff. He like, yeah, bro, like slide whenever. And I had reached out to like multiple people before. People try to little bro you. They're like, man, nah, man, like move around. Like, yeah, I
Which is
got
crazy.
yeah,
Man. But they do it.
yeah, like they little bro you. But yeah, I talked to bro like multiple times. Eventually, started talking to Stan, bro, and they really like solidified that for me, bro. And that's why I said salute to them. Because they made me see it like I'm like, yeah, bro, like you could this is like the avenue you want to take, bro. It's possible, it's doable. It's people that look like you that's doing it, bro. So like don't be discouraged because Mizzou in general, bro, like
So
it ain't
many. It's so
yeah,
many of us.
I'm like, bro, it's not too many people that like look like us already. So
For sure.
especially like in our program. So,
For sure.
it gave me the confidence and stuff to go ahead and pursue it.
Yeah. That's real. So you say it dates back to high school. Obviously, you both went to the same high school. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to
Hey, shout out
CBC.
CP.
Shout out to CB. All boys school.
Yep.
And, I try to tell people, man, going to an all boys school, it has its pros and its cons. Depends on what you're going for. Obviously, we're known mainly for athletics, and obviously, not always positive news. But do you think that? Let me go back real quick. I think as guys, we struggle with the notion of finding an outlet to express ourselves. So, you know what I mean? So, like, we will suppress everything, and then it gets to a point where we had a breaking point, And as much as you mentioned your support system and you mentioned the people that that care about you. Do you think it was because of what we've been taught as men that you probably did not seek help earlier?
Oh, most definitely 100%,
Okay.
bro.
That's what I
And
thought.
it's sad because like I don't think it's intentional. Like I don't think we grow up in like the people, that we look up to like want to harm us or hurt us or like our growth. But like, bro, it's generational. Like that's what they were taught, bro. And as a kid, especially as a boy, they're like, man, stop that crying, bro. Like, like you're not supposed to do all that. You can't be simping all the time, and
Nope.
like, you got to pick yourself up. You got to be tough. You got to go out and get it. Blah blah blah. But I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, that'll really break you down. Like for real, like we was talking about. So yeah, I definitely think that, like that's taught, or learned.
Yeah, I'll put you on a little secret. So my next book, I'm actually writing about that right now, because I think that we have to really get to that point of being okay to express ourselves. A lot of things that we do are very influence crazy. So for example, right, if you like girls, if girls like tough guys, and the girl you've been eyeing for a long time, you're like, man, like I gotta get on her.
Yeah,
Like, and she, you see her on Instagram or something, she definitely telling you what she looks for in a guy. You trying to fit all that criteria, to get at her. It's
hey,
part of our nature. But what we do that harm us is, one, we don't work together. That's a St. Louis issue, you know what I mean? And so, I think it's a world issue, but I like to micromanage it. And we always talk about that in the city. We always talk about how we got all this great talent, we got all these great people,
man,
and we don't want to work together. And I know we have a lot of talent. I know there's people who doing clothes. I know there's artists out there, there's like true painters, there's rappers, there's
all types of
other people doing podcasts, whatever. And like, the likelihood of you showing love to that next person is so slim. And I get it. There's a little competition, man. But imagine if we got all, and I'm just making this guy specific right now, we got all the talented dudes in one room.
man,
You know what I
bro.
mean? Like, how much impact we would actually do.
It would be crazy.
Like, it's crazy to me that it never made sense to me. And that's why I'm glad you said you had two people that they didn't little bro you in that moment. They let you
Yeah,
in. Can I get it? Fashion, clothes, everybody trying to get their own
yeah,
dollar.
understandable.
But you realize, like, what advantage do I gain of somebody who took, because we prideful. We swallow our pride. He asks for help. You
Yeah,
can give him a pointer or two. You don't have to, I don't think you have to give everybody every single secret to, but
yeah,
you can give them a starter kit.
most definitely, bro. Yeah, a lot of people, like I said, I reached out to a ton of people, St. Louis artists in particular, bro, and like, I ain't gonna name drop or like bash nobody, because I know like everybody got their own agenda. Everybody got their own reasons of doing stuff. Not to say they didn't have stuff going on either, but
Right.
yeah, bro. Like I got in there. It's not like I'm asking like, hey, bro, like how you do this like specifically, like like give me like the whole playbook. I'm like, just like first off, like you got to build that like friendship, bro. Because I'm like, without that, like it's never gonna be really genuine. In my
No,
opinion, you don't
no,
never want a relationship to just be all business, bro.
of course.
Um, so yeah, just like establishing that friendship, bro. Like, like I support you, bro, before anything. Like you don't gotta give me no gems. Like, I just support you. You from my city, bro. You young, you black, you doing your thing. Like, I want you to win.
Mm.
And like you were saying, bro, it's so many talented people in St. Louis, bro. Like, and I've seen so many talented people just like fall off, bro, just cause, like whether it be their circumstances, like the city, what's going on, but like that's why I really try to stay like diligent, bro, because it's so like I said, it's so many talented people, bro. But like if you don't put that work behind it, bro, you fall to the wayside.
Easy.
So I'm
Easy.
like, that's why I really just try to stay like disciplined and diligent. Cause it's easy to get complacent and lazy, bro. You make some people like, I'm like, okay, like I could chill for a minute, but you can't really.
Bro, I be trying to tell and I think when I talk to people, and and right now I think we all just in the beginning part of the process, so everything's not necessarily popping as soon, as much as we want it to.
Right.
But I was telling my girlfriend this. I was like, it's kind of hard for me to stop something that I've been building on. Now I understand you have to be honest with yourself. If you feel burnt out for, take a week off.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
I can't just sit and like stop something that
Yeah.
I've actually invested time, I invested money into.
Yeah.
I said because unfortunately we live in a world where everybody's kind of doing the same thing, and every day or every week or every month that goes by, and obviously timing happens when it's supposed to happen, but that's somebody else getting better. That's me not potentially becoming the best version of myself. And there's other things you can do to improve on, but you have to work on your craft.
Absolutely.
At least, if not every day, every other day. It don't even have to be all day. It can just be something. You can learn how to stitch something or trace something. But if you just, push it off for 6 months, like everybody doesn't have the mentality to lock back in,
Right,
act
bro.
like it never happened. Like for me, like when it comes to writing, that's why I've been putting out so many blogs. I had to retrain myself to get back into writing a book, because that's like, to me, writing a book is like making a music album, because you have to put
most definitely.
you have to really lock yourself into a space of like, this is what I'm running to write about. I want it to go like this, and then you were nitpicking everything. You want to make sure it flows right. And I've learned so much after doing my first one.
Yeah.
I feel like the second one's gonna be better, but there's so much time that I spent kind of hesitating back and forth that I don't necessarily have to do this time around. I'm like, the hard part is over with. I already put out one.
Right.
You either liked it or you didn't. But the part of actually putting out the product is out. So I don't really worry about that no more. That's why I be trying to tell y'all. I remember when you had we came up there, we did a pod, and we came to your y'all had like I guess it was like I won't call it a fashion thing, but y'all had like,
like a little
you were showing us your product.
Yeah, a little.
And I remember I told Daryl, I was just like, remember who's in this room.
We talk about that to this day.
Because I tell you this all the time. Like, in the beginning, man, nobody is gonna care about what you're doing. But the minute that you get any attraction, I promise you, brother, the minute you get any attraction, yo, man, CJ, y'all seen his clothes, bro? Or like, Malik, oh, you heard his album, man? Like, Pew put in 10 years of the same thing, and then, that 10th year they pop off. And you sit back and wonder, like, man, I was doing this 10 years ago, and now you have the audacity to contact me. You know what I mean? Bro. And so I try to tell y'all that because I want y'all to understand that it's going to take time. I have to tell myself this all the time when I do this, because it's me by myself.
Yeah, so most definitely, bro.
So it's like one of those things of like, you just have to remind yourself, like, there's going to be many days where you're going to be discouraged. Life's going to beat you up. Obviously, we in the middle of a pandemic. The likelihood of you getting resources is already tough as it is, especially what you're doing, what you're trying to do. So it's like, it's all these different pressures. But if you just find a way to continue and just be the best version of yourself, whatever that looks like, it's all going to work itself out. Just unfortunately, everybody is so selfish in their own agendas of whatever it is. And I really don't understand it, because I think what makes me so mad about people who talk about St. Louis so much, and I get it, St. Louis isn't the biggest. St. Louis, we don't have all the bells and whistles of like Chicago or Texas, because that's where everybody moves to, Chicago or Texas. That's nothing wrong with that. But like, it's like we have the same amount of talent, the same amount of people.
Yep.
We just don't have the same support. I feel like the reason why people like Chicago so much is because people show love in Chicago.
They do, bro.
And like,
same thing with like Atlanta, bro. That's why they are on right now, bro. One person get on, they gonna pull 2-3 people behind them.
Yeah, man. That's the concept that I just wish we would understand, man.
Yeah, bro. I really do think, we making progress or like strides in the right direction. I really think it's a renaissance of like, creativeness in St. Louis right now. It's a lot of people starting to like pop up, just doing their own thing. the camaraderie, it ain't all the way there, but I will say, it's a small pool of people that I've talked to, bro. They didn't kept it a bean since I met them, bro, and I respect it. I salute it. Especially within like the fashion scene. Not like I said, not everybody, but it's been a few people that's like embraced me. And like you were saying, bro, when you first start off, like nobody is there. That's why I say we still talk about that to this day, bro. When you told us that, because honestly, bro, like was one of the big things I remember from that night, bro. You was like, bro, remember who's in this room, and bro, you right, because it's not that I've had like a lot of success yet. I've had some success so far, but even like because I got published, my school, Mizzou published me, like they put me up on display in one of the in our hall.
Right.
So even then, it's people here. I'm like, bro, I ain't talked to you in like a minute, bro. Like, what was you like a couple years ago, bro? Like when I was first starting, I'm selling tees for like $15, bro.
I was about to say you're selling tees for cheap.
Yeah, cheap, bro. And I'm like, granted, they ain't the best quality, but it's just like that's what I'm doing, bro. Like support me. And I'm like, now that I'm starting to get a little traction, a little clout, bro, it's people coming up out the woodwork.
It happens every single, and this is I don't know if this is a world thing or a culture thing, but we do it so much. And it's something that I wish that anybody that does a business or anybody that is doing art or creativity understands this concept. Because people will get so mad at, let me go back. People have expectations of what they think people should do for their product.
Most definitely.
Realistically, you put out something, you're going to expect your friends, your loved ones to support it, right? Just that's usually what it is.
Right.
Unfortunately, everybody does not do that for the simple fact that I call it Mike Jones syndrome. Like it's a real thing. Like it's a real thing, bro. Like, like you have a few homies that's gonna support it. Like my thing is, if you put out a t-shirt for $5, it's like thing is me buying it, it's just showing support. I don't have to wear the t-shirt. I could burn the t-shirt. I can cut it. But just giving something to somebody else that's trying to do something, that gives them a hit of inspiration. You know what I mean? Like I don't think everybody expects people to wear their stuff. Just like I don't expect people to listen to my stuff every week or every time I drop. It's not realistic. Like if I drop a podcast and Beyonce or Drake drop an album, you probably not gonna listen to my stuff. Like it's just what it is.
Right,
like,
right.
It's just where I don't care if I drop a book on the quietest day of the earth. You may have your own life problems. Like I've learned not to have expectations for people when it comes to my product. People find themselves getting flustered when other people don't support their product. It's one of those unfortunate things of like, until you were actually there, most people aren't going to support your product. It's going to be a very few people and some fly-by-night people that are going to come in and they may show love. And then, you may go quiet for a minute and you're like, dang, like I wonder if they still doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, they still are. I don't know what that means. And then, but as soon as you stop though, what happened with that?
Yeah,
what happened? Like it happens every time. I had to learn that because obviously I try to study everybody that's doing something very similar. If I'm reading a book, I'm trying to study how they write. If I'm listening to a podcast, I'm trying to listen to what they're doing potentially better that I can help improve. And at this point in time when I first started, I was getting flustered. I'm like, I feel like I'm capable of doing the same exact thing, but the attraction's not right there. I had to remind myself, I'm like, well, you just started essentially over again. I'm like, okay, not everybody listens to audio stuff. Let's think about that. Some people like visual. Some people just don't like it. Maybe you have to change the market that you at. It's just what it is. I'm in a very, and I mean this, and this is no disrespect to our race, but motivational stuff ain't really always in for us. like realistically, like you're not thinking about, you may listen to one or two, or you may if you really spiritual person, you may you may listen to a sermon or two that hits you, but like most of us, we not sitting down. We're not sitting down. We're not digesting it. I mean, that was something I had to. That's something I had to realize. Like, I had to stay true to myself and understand what I'm trying to do with that. Some people gonna like it, and some people just not gonna listen to him because, like, man, he just talk about the same stuff. Some people want to listen to reality stuff. They want to listen to the drama. They want to get that's kind of in our culture. I can't get mad at that. But my thing is, there's a lane for everybody. If you want to make T-shirts for babies, make T-shirts for babies. The lane is there. It just may take you longer to get to that lane. That's all, man. That's why I told y'all that night, man, because I know is I knew that night there was another event going on. Right. And just thinking of a prototypical college student, you're gonna want to have fun.
Oh yeah.
Way before.
Most definitely.
Way before something else. Now, granted, if you had some sort of sense, that other part not stopping to a certain time.
Yeah.
You can stop by for 2 minutes. You don't even have to buy nothing. I think people have to understand that not everybody is looking for you to buy their product. Some people just want you to simply take a picture.
On me, show face.
Just show your face, say what's up. Like it really could I've been paying attention to people, man. Like when a celebrity posts a picture, people repost it real quick. They you know what I mean? Like, if they with their family, they'll do it real quick. Your friend drop a business ad, looking kind of quiet.
Most definitely.
I'd be like, so the person that you don't know, again, it takes literally the same amount of time to repost something.
On me.
It don't take long.
So simple, bro. Like, you ain't got to pay for nothing.
It's a free ad.
Yeah, bro.
To your friends, all it takes, I promise you, all it takes is like 5 to 10 seconds. You don't have to even say anything. You don't. Boom, boom. That's it. You've done your job. And I guarantee you, if a person really appreciates you, they'll do it back. Doesn't mean you have to do it every time. But like we get so lost in that, and I don't understand that. And again, I get it. There's some competitive nature. Some people are just gonna naturally hate on you.
Yeah.
But we as people, we hate on people for just trying.
Yeah. I mean,
and then we get mad when people take off. I'm like, they tried. Like, not most people have done years of work before they finally blew up. That's just it's okay. You got these. Okay, if you're gonna go music wise, you got a couple fly by night people, but they're not gonna be there long.
Yeah,
it's just I was thinking about Virgil. The reason I mentioned Virgil so much because I think Virgil he's like the example of, I would consider the type of fashion that you may want to do at some point. But Virgil studied underneath Kanye for years. That was like Kanye's person.
Yeah. Like, people don't understand that. Yeah, bro. Like, Virgil been learning, like, perfecting his craft for like
15, a minute.
Yeah, like 15, 20 years, bro. Like, this didn't happen overnight.
So but it seems like it because
on me, a lot of people didn't know about it. So like, he came up Off-White and he just like took off. And like, now he the creative director of Louis Vuitton. Like, they're like, dang, bro, like, he did that quick. But I'm like, yeah, bro, people don't understand that, bro. Like, and that's why this time a lot of people, they like, bro, where the merch, bro? I'm like, bro, like, sewing. I'm like, bro, it's a whole different beast, bro. Like, I had to take off like this whole year. I'm just learning how to construct, bro. Like, it's hard. I didn't create whole garments. I got to take the whole thing apart, bro, because it's like one little, it don't fit right, or it ain't cut right. Just something simple like that, bro. But yeah, bro. Just to kind of go back to what we were saying, everybody got to start somewhere too, bro. With like, people like supporting them and stuff, or like bashing people. That's why I'm like, bro, when people first starting out, I really I'm like, bro, I repost people on my story like almost daily, bro. Like, I'm like, bro, I see somebody doing something creative, just like, I'm like, bro, keep going, because I know how it feel, bro, to have people not rock with you or like not support you. But like, I'm like, look, bro, you could do it. Like, I still to this day get discouraged, bro. But I'm like, bro, everybody got to start somewhere. So I'm like, bro, them same people you looking up to, bro, they went through these same trial and errors that you did, bro. But like, the only thing, they never gave up, bro. Like I said, Virgil been working at this 15, 20 years. I'm like, and he just really getting his shine, his spotlight, bro. So I'm like, bro, you really just got to stay focused, stay diligent, bro. Never, if that's what you really want to do, you going to do it.
Yeah, I believe that. I'm a firm believer, man, that I think, I mean, we're all in our 20s right now, and everybody's 20s looks so different. Especially when you just graduate from school. That's the one thing I try to tell people when they graduate. Like, don't come in expecting, man, like your whole life's going to change. Like, you may go back to square one. That's the one thing that colleges, unfortunately, do not promote as much. That's not necessarily their job. Their job is to provide you an education, but they don't promote the reality of what, life out of college can look like. Think about it. If you got, on average, about 16 million kids graduate from school each year, that's on national numbers.
Yeah.
The zoo has about 10 to 15,000 graduating each year. Y'all all live relatively close. Y'all, the College of Arts and Science graduation be like 5 hours. All 5 of y'all, all 5 hours worth of students, y'all all not about to go back home and find a job in your specific area right away. And that's another conversation that needs to be talked about in higher education and even in corporations. It's like, you got all these young kids who are told to go to school, which is nothing wrong with that, but we don't take the necessary step to mention the next part. But like, y'all might start over. You may have to take this job. You may have to do this.
Yeah.
Right. So we come in with this expectation of like, I'm gonna get here. And some people do. Some of it, man, it's simply luck, God's favor, whatever you want to call it. It's some of that. It happens to a very few. The only problem is that we live in a very compare and contrast society, as you was kind of mentioning, about, showing love to people. If you're at home and you're just on your phone all day scrolling, I think that's the one thing that this quarantine has done to a lot of people. Is mentally it's messed them up. Not because they are necessarily at the house. I think it's a simple fact that when you are running out of things to do, you either have to face your own issues that you've been avoiding for a long period of time, or now you're comparing yourself to somebody else.
Yes, bro.
You know what I mean? Like, that's one of the things that I had to, I think we all do it. I think it's just part of our culture. I just think that we do it to a point where it's necessarily unhealthy.
Oh,
like,
Most
it's
definitely.
to the point of we are obsessed over what we think is nice. And again, you see your favorite artist driving a car you always wanted. You may feel slighted, like, man, like, especially a rapper, like, I can get the same thing, but it's like, you sitting there being down about it at this moment, what is that really gonna do?
Exactly.
You don't have the car. It's take it. It's like, you don't have the car. Face the facts that you don't have it right now, and wait till you get to that point. Not everybody got fed a silver spoon, and Instagram does a good job of creating this augmented reality for whatever reason. And we do it all the time. We do it. Doesn't matter. Sometimes, a woman will see another woman in a bikini. They're not proud of themselves. Like, I get it. We all have something that we're not happy with ourselves, but we're in a point of our time in life where it's all we have. We have is time to just sit here and compare what we got, what we don't got.
Most definitely. And that's why sometimes, bro, I gotta take social media cleanses. Like, it'll be times I'll delete my Twitter, Instagram apps for like a couple weeks at a time, just cause, bro, that thing about comparison, bro, it'll eat you alive. And I'm like, a lot of the stuff you see ain't always true, bro. And I'm like, a lot of people get on, I'm like, oh yeah, bro, you still at the crib, you broke, you ain't driving this shit, bro, like, you ain't getting no money, you not really out here working, but I'm like, a lot of these people you seeing, bro, like, it's not even really real, bro. Like, maybe that's rented, that might not be his whip for real. Like, a lot of people, you can make social media what you want, or you could tell the story that you want. So I'm like, a lot of this stuff is cap, bro. I'm like, a lot of these people ain't really. It's the truth, bro. A lot of these people not really living like that, bro. So, so yeah, bro. You can't get up in that cycle of, you know, just like sitting on Instagram or Twitter scrolling all day, like, oh, look what they got, look what they doing. Cause like, I don't know, like I was saying, bro, a lot of it be cap.
It do, and the crazy thing is, I mean, again, it's something that we all do, but it does no good. It does no good for us because it's really just an illusion. You know what I mean? And that's just something that I just hope that we all can get to at some point, because it's like the moment you sit around trying to figure out what the next person, again, is, that's the one thing that I've really been trying to focus on, is utilizing time better. And I think, and again, you're gonna have moments, man, you know, where life is just gonna be so messed up that all you just trying to do is exist. But you know, at least in our 20s, it's something I've started paying attention to. We take this "we gonna be young for a minute" concept a little too long. Cause and to a fault, because it gets to the point where we think we got to get to certain places at a certain age.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I have to be, and although you know, there's some things you would love. Anybody would love to be Forbes 30 under 30, next upcoming this, that. Those are things you want young because you want to create longevity. But it's also like to a fault of where we put so much pressure, and I do this to myself. So I understand. It's like you want it to happen at a certain time, that when it don't happen, you end up being disappointed.
Yeah.
You're like, well, I'm 27 and I've been working on this for this long, and I'm supposed to be here by now. I'm supposed to have the house that I want by now, or
right.
You know, that's the one thing I try to tell people, man. And that's something that I've tried to own up to. Like, a lot of people that know me and they see me and they've heard what I got going on, they like, man, like you should be good. I'm like, man, you find out after a while, a lot of the stuff that you think is actually worth it, it don't be worth it. Like once you get it, it's like, okay, it's here. It don't necessarily change anything, because sometimes you focus so much again to a point that you literally peak and you stop.
Yeah.
Just like I look at it when I talk to people about like relationships sometimes. I'm like, some people are so overly focused on finding somebody and getting married that they forget, like, when they get married, like, that's a whole nother job.
Man.
You know what I mean? Like, and I get it. We all, again, men and women, we all have our own desires, what we want, but it's like focusing on that point doesn't necessarily, doesn't mean it doesn't stop. Like, the issues are still gonna be there.
Yeah.
It's one of, like, my cousin just married her husband. They high school sweethearts. They were together for like 9 years before they got married. But guess what? They problems still they problems. Like, it doesn't change because you get there. It just adds on to the journey. But if you over focus on getting to that point of, you know, being the next Virgil.
Yeah.
Like, Virgil got to Louis and he was like, okay, like, Virgil could have stopped. We could have just
on me.
Could have coasted back and be like, all right, well, I got to this point. I can. But it's one of those things, like, you stop right then and there. It's not, you're going to miss out. That's why I enjoyed The Last Dance so much. And as much as it pains me to say this, because I am LeBron all day. Jordan was different. That was a different. Oh, that's a different dude. He was never fully satisfied with anything.
Yep.
And there's something where I was so drawn back. I'm like, I see why people hated him. Yeah. But I see why so many people admire this man too. That man was never satisfied with anything that he did, that he cared about. He could have, even, you know, people say he got a gambling problem. Like, that's cool. But I'm like, that's just how competitive he was. Like, he banked on himself that much where he was like, okay, we want to play darts. I'm great at darts. I'm gonna put 50,000 down. Sounds extreme, but that's how confident he was in himself.
Yeah, bro. And I'm like, you really do have to have that mentality going forward, bro. Like that Mamba mentality, that Jordan mentality, bro. Because, like, not to say that's the only way you're going to win, but I'm like, I be thinking of it in like the perspective of like, bro, that's the only way we're gonna push the culture, bro. Because I'm like, we not too far off from like, you know, all this. I'm like, bro, our parents lived through stuff like segregate. I'm like, bro, it wasn't too far off. So for us to be in these spaces and have these opportunities, that's why Virgil being at Louis is so big, or like Kirby having like the platform that he does, or just like all these other people, bro. And that's how I really like admire and respect them, bro, because they're trying to push the culture. And it's like, yeah, you could get to Louis and be like, bro, I made it. But I'm like, bro, you didn't. I'm like, bro, it ain't somebody else working at Dior, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's still work to be done, bro. So you can't never really be satisfied. And that's why I say I try to get myself out of that habit. Like, you know, I drop some everybody like, I'm like, all right, I could chill for a second. I'm like, bro, you can't. And I'm like, bro, you know, because I'm like, and it surprised me, bro, because like it'll be people that hit me up and I'm like, I'm just starting. They be like, bro, like, you know, this so raw. Like, you know, I've been watching you like I'm trying to get into this. And I'm like, bro, who are you to ask me? Because I'm like, bro, I feel like I ain't even really started yet. Like, you never know who's watching you and who you inspiring, bro. And
Yeah.
because you know that's what happened to me, bro. It's just some dudes at Mizzou just like doing that. I'm like, bro, that's hard, and it's then blossomed into something like so much bigger and like life changing. And yeah, bro, you just never know who life you gonna change or affect.
Yeah, I think that's the cornerstone of everything, man. That's why I tell my friends, man, like you have to conduct yourself in a certain way. And unfortunately, you have to conduct yourself in a way if you're business oriented or brand oriented, you have to conduct yourself as a brand. Okay? Any slip up that you have, not everybody can bounce back from it.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody. One, you may not have the platform enough to do that. You know what I mean? If you had a stage where you've cemented yourself, then yeah, you can fall, you can take a hit and you can probably come back. But if you're trying to start up, man, your margin for error is so low. And unfortunately, man, at least in our society, especially being black, your margin is even a lot lower.
Yeah, most
You
definitely.
know, because people will try to find a way to correct what you do, how you think. And I think from the fashion standpoint, I think why I was so fascinated, um, just even talking to you about it, because I'm like, as far as consumers, man, we the number one consumers in America. Black people will spend money on everything.
That's what I'm
So,
saying.
so my thing is, and it's not a bad thing, but it's one of those things where when you have so much financial value into something that changes, you gotta have people that look like that part. Because that was my one issue with artists that used to. That's the concept that maybe I would never understand. I don't see the whole point of going into into an establishment that has clearly not shown any respect to you or the culture.
Yeah.
And you continue to buy money. I remember when Gucci had that blackface incident.
Yeah, bro.
And people boycotted Gucci for a moment in time. And I was like, people are going back. And my thing is, you can spend your money, whatever. And my thing is, we cannot be sideways on what we should do and what we should not do.
Yeah.
Because that same energy you're mad about Gucci is also the same amount of energy you can be put into your friend business.
Yes.
So they can make quality stuff like Gucci too. Because the only difference between Gucci, Polo, all these places is usually just the quality of their fabric. I know that's usually the main cost of everything. It's not necessarily assembling everything together. It's literally that's some good quality fabric. It's better than was it Gildan? That one.
Gildan.
Like, that's a very standard.
Me.
That's a very standard type of material. But they getting high grade stuff. That's why it costs so much. And then obviously they've succeeded so much. You're really just paying for the name.
That's what.
That's it. And that was a concept. Once I realized that, I started thinking. That was the one thing I did after I graduated school. That if I can go back in time, I would have did differently. I started making. I got a decent paying job. Very grateful for it. I was with my parents at the time. I was just saving up money, but I was buying so many shoes. I was just buying shoes up. Cause I mean, my thing is, I never was really a sneakerhead growing up. My mom always told me there's no value in buying all these shoes. And at that time, I'm like, man, I got the money for it. I'm about to go buy these, about these Yeezys. I'm like, okay. Now after a while, I start looking. I was like, I started adding everything up. I was like, you spent this much money,
man,
and you don't wear all these shoes. I was like, so that lets me know. I mean, how important fashion is to us, because that's kind of a part of our culture, man. From going back to middle school, like you didn't have on the freshest J's.
Cookie, it was flaming you, bro.
They on your head, like. And the sad thing is, we've gotten so conditioned to that point where we feel like we got to have a certain name on our body to validate ourselves. And again, there's nothing wrong with nice things. If you want to go to Gucci, Louis. I have no issue with that. I just think my only issue has been with these high price places is that the people that's usually buying your stuff are the people that look like the people that are making the clothes. And that's it. That's simply it. I'm not saying they aren't inclined to do it. They're not good fashion people. It's just the people who really put money in your pocket. They don't look like you usually,
bro.
And that's it. That's my only issue. That's my only issue.
I mean, bro, you really hit that right on the head, bro. Cause I'm like, bro, a lot of these designers, bro, like, you know, they're not for our people. Cause I'm like, if you think about it, bro, they got all this infrastructure, all this like power and pull. Why aren't there more people that like we spending all this money with them? Why aren't there more people? And they so like influenced by us too, bro. Like you see them pull inspiration from Black people, like
can't get mad,
bro. Yeah, like they taking our style, our stilo, bro. Like, and we just giving it our money, and I'm like, they don't even like us. And I'm like, bro, if we put on me, I was like, bro, we could really build like an empire, bro. If we really embodied and empowered, you know, like these young Black designers, especially like now, bro, because that's why I've been so like grateful too and like appreciative to be a part of like this generation, because we really the first generation that could really kind of do what we want and like make it a career. And our parents really didn't get that opportunity. You know, they went to school, you know, they got a job that was gonna put food on the table. And that's why I feel like they don't always understand like our decisions. Cause I'm
that's
like,
the main reason why they don't understand our decisions.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, it's people out here living off Instagram or YouTube or like whatever, bro, like living good. But, you know, just to go back to what I was saying, bro, if we invested in ourselves, bro, I'm like 10, 15 years from now, I'm like, bro, we would honestly take over. Like,
sure.
Really, I mean, honestly, everything, but you know what I'm saying? And that's why I always try to support like the young dudes or young businesses that's just starting out, because it really does. Like, and I see that now that I'm trying to start my own, like, you know, I'm like, bro, it does make the difference, bro. Like money is a big deal, bro, when it comes to fashion and like what you buying. I'm like, yeah, I started off selling them $15 tees, but I'm like, yeah, I didn't got a little bread now. So I'm like, now it's time to up the ante a little bit. You know, we're gonna go get some other blanks, so like some more premium fabrics. So, you know,
it takes money to make money, man. They always say that. And again, when I made those statements, I'm not coming at it from a place of divisiveness. You know, for people who maybe listen, it's just the simple fact of like we have to pay attention to numbers. It's because one of those things, man, where we as Black people don't necessarily pay attention to. It's thrown in our face all the time, but that's a concept that we have to understand. Is that when there's something that you're putting a lot of money into, and that return on investment isn't necessarily as high, the average person is going to be kind of mad, like where's my money going to? And that's really it. It's not something to create a war about or start really boycotting. It's just to create awareness of like, okay, we got all these young people, older people, don't matter, who are doing the same thing, got the same talent, they just don't have the financial backing.
Yeah.
So instead of spending $40 here, you can get maybe 4 shirts here.
For sure.
And eventually, if you add up more to it, man, it'll all make sense. I just wish that, you know, my only hope is in the next 10 years that we'll start finally working together. I mean, at some point, this conversation is going to get old. Like, okay, we should have been working together.
Yeah. And that's what I said, bro. You got to be that change, bro. That's why I'm like, bro, you got to help hold yourself accountable and like responsible, bro. I'm like, it's up to us, bro.
For sure, man. Well, I appreciate this conversation, my brother. This was
I
great.
appreciate you having me, bro.
Of course, I told Malik, I gotta have him. Um, I need a hoodie, by the way, because that one I got, but I got it in the medium. At the time, I was like, man, I'm gonna lose some weight and I'm gonna be cool.
Hey,
But
look,
that kind of shrunk up on me. So now I need a, I need a, I need a large one. But I try to wear it as much as I can. And the other day, I was like, all right, you just can't fit this no more.
hey, it's love though, bro. We appreciate it because I'm like, bro, these dropped over a year ago, so we definitely do for a retro. Definitely got some stuff coming soon. I can't talk about it too much.
I
And
understand,
also,
bro.
I ain't really told. Well, I didn't told a few people, but I'm gonna be launching like retro. Still gonna be doing that thing. Like we still gonna be. Cause retro is more like an entity. It's not just clothes. Like
Right. No, it's like it's a lifestyle, I know.
yeah. So like retro still gonna be dropping like merch and like stuff like that. But I'm about to launch like a solo cut and sew brand here in the fall. Well, I'm probably gonna do a soft launch sometime this summer. Drop like a small run of things, but I'm gonna have like a full like fall collection. When it get a little bit colder outside. So definitely look out for that. But yeah, bro, I got you. We're gonna definitely take care of you, bro.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Well, my brother, I appreciate you joining, man. You stay safe out here, all right?
Oh, yeah, you too, bro.
Yes, sir. All right.